Howdy. The Minister for Infrastructure and Assets that resides at this residence has given me an instruction to stop mucking around out here and get serious and start doing some projects that need to be done. So the next one is to build another unit that will replace this freestanding cabinet that we had in our wardrobe to store some of our clothes in. The new one will be similarly designed, still in the high gloss white melamine. Be about 400mm longer than this one. Be 2 banks of drawers, 5 drawers on each side. It'll go from wall to wall inside the wardrobe. So be fixed in there permanently. Still undecided whether or not to do a high gloss white melamine top or to do one out of veneer black bar. So the plan is build the unit, install it into the area where it's got to go, and then seek further instructions from the Minister. Okay, that's the carcass of the cabinet completed. Next thing is to mount my drawer slides. On this cabinet there's 5 drawers in each bank. This cabinet's 500mm deep, so I'll be using a 450 long, what's called a push open drawer slide. So there'll be no handles on the front of these drawers, it's just a matter of pushing on the front of the drawer panel and it'll pop open. Just move the camera in closer, you can see the way I set out for these drawer runners. Okay, the way I work out location with drawer runners, no hard and fast rule in regards to where they go on your drawer unit. This was the side panel of your drawer, can mount them down the bottom of the drawer panel, up the top, in the middle, whatever turns you on. 99% of the time I put them in the middle. So what I do first is get the overall dimension of the carcass and then divide that by the number of drawers that you have. I've got 5 here, this is 1100, so that makes each drawer front around 220mm in height, not allowing for any clearance or edging at this stage. So I don't know if the camera picks it up, but I've done a series of marks down here at 220 to give me a reference point of each drawer front. And then what I do is basically work out, okay, how deep do I want to make each drawer? You know, you can make it 50mm deep if you want to. You know, the same width as your drawer runner. You wouldn't hold much in there if you did that though. I've got around about 200mm. So my height, the depth or the height of my side panels on the drawers are going to be around 190. So the way I do it is I like to give myself a little bit of clearance between the bottom of the top drawer and the top of the next drawer, if that makes sense. So what I do is this line that I've got marked here, which is the bottom of my top drawer front, I come up 5mm, give myself a little bit of clearance, and then from here up to the top here, to the other side of this, at least give myself another 5-10mm clearance. So as I said, my drawer fronts are going to be 190. So basically it's from that mark to the little mark that I've got up there. So all I've done is obviously pick the centre, which is right there, then come down 22.5mm, reason being these are 45mm in width, and where that line and that cross is, that represents the bottom of my drawer runner. So they'll all get screwed on like so in that location. Now I've got these all marked down here on this one panel. If you wanted to, you go ahead and mark it up and down all, on the other 3 sides that you're going to take a drawer runner. I don't bother doing that. Reason being, you creep with the pencil, all sorts of things. I don't have a drawer slide jig. Never used one, but I'm assuming that the companies that do make them, that they're, what I've seen, they're a good and useful tool. The way I've been doing is, well, I've been doing it for years, hasn't failed me yet, so continue to do that, which you'll get to see when I go to mount the drawer runners on, the way that I actually do it. Just a brief description of the way I do it is I have a panel that I cut to this point up here, to the bottom of this top drawer slide. Can be off cut of something you've got. In this case I'll be using an MDF panel, and what I'm actually going to be cutting off each time, but first, I'll cut it to this height, whatever this is, off the bottom bottom panel up to here. That'll be cut it off, and then I'll be sitting the drawer runner on top of it, and it's going to support the drawer runner while I screw it into position. Then go along and put all those top ones on right through using the same panel. And the next thing will be to cut the panel down to this next mark where the next runner is. And that panel that I cut off here actually becomes one of the side panels of the drawer unit. So it's not waste, I'm not throwing things away, wasting a heap of material. Do that, go along, put the second row right through, cut it down again, third row, fourth row, fifth row. If you're going to do this, obviously, you don't want to start at the bottom. Down the bottom, put your drawer runners on, otherwise you can't use this panel the way that I use it. You must start at the top and cut it down as you go. So I'll cut one and we'll start putting on some drawer runners. Okay, panel's cut, just got a G clamp, an F clamp down the bottom here. Just clamp to the side of the carcass just to hold it there, you can't fall over. Strip out the front bar. That gets fixed to the actual drawer. And now my hands are free. Walk away, do with something else if you want to. Now, I'm not trying to juggle, hold, drill. Makes it a lot easier. So getting the main body flush with the front of the carcass. Pre-drill a couple of holes there. Screws in. One drawer runner on, panel out, go along, sit the panel, clamp it back up, do the next one, round on the next side, so forth. Do the top rows, all done, cut it down to this next mark, repeat it. Yeah, pretty straightforward, fun, easy, less stressful than trying to work out where a jig goes and hold things with your hands and all that sort of stuff. What I just do with these drawer runners, series of holes in here. So on the main body runner, which is this one, I use these slotted holes here. Those three. Reason being, that gives me, if I need to, it gives me movement play this way. So if I need to bring the drawer front forward for whatever reason, I can do that with the runner by just backing the screws off a little bit, pushing it forward, so forth. When it comes to actually mounting this part on the actual drawer unit, I'll use the vertical slotted holes, not the horizontal ones. So the horizontal ones I use on the main body. These vertical slots I use, and that enables me to, on the side of the drawer panel, gives me movement this way, up and down. So I can play with the margins on the drawers if you need to. So using the slotted holes here that are horizontal gives you lateral movement that way. Using the vertical slotted holes that go on the actual drawer unit gives you vertical adjustment and play. Okay, that's all the drawers done. Bottom panels put in. Next thing is to mount the drawer slides onto the drawers. So I'll do that next. The way I mount these on, obviously you've got to work out your height up off your bottom panel or off the top of the last drawer, whichever way you want to do it. In my case, I need to come up 80mm off the bottom of each drawer unit. So I've just marked a line there, 80mm up. Next thing is I'm using the slotted holes here in these runners. Once again, that gives me movement up and down if I need to make adjustments for the margins. Just place the slide on there, making sure you got it, that's the front. Line the holes up with that pencil line right through. Then just marking the centre of the vertical slotted holes. Whack a little hole in each point there. Stops the drill bit sliding around. Now I normally flip it over, mark out, which I've already done and drilled the holes for this side. So I do both mark out both sides and drill all the holes, just easier. When you flip the unit over with the drawer runner on it, wants to rock around, makes it a little bit more awkward. I'll just whack this one. Wind up in the holes, fat fingers. Little screw started. Making sure you're still flush at the front of you, and you need to be in the centre of that pencil line. There we have it. Flip it over, screw the other one on, do that 10 times over, and they're all ready to slide in. Righto, that's all the drawer fronts mounted on the slides in. They all slide nicely. So as far as that goes, that's done. Next thing is to cut all the fronts for the run of the drawers. Now this carcass and the drawers are all made out of the matte finish melamine. Now, not ideal for the front of cabinets or cabinet tops, even though it's pretty hard to see. It does have a stippled finish on it, and constantly touching with your hands does discolour it over time. So the top and the front of this will be out of the high gloss melamine finish. Touch this all day long, it won't discolour it. A lot more hard wearing than the matte finish. So I've got a 24 by 12 sheet, bring that up on here, up on the bench, cut it down to the rough size on the track saw, and then cut it down finally to its final sizes on the table saw, and then it'll be time for some edging to go on. With this gloss finish, different type of edging goes on here. It's PVC, so it's a different process, completely different to the iron-on veneer that I normally do on the matte finish melamine. So we'll get into cutting those fronts. That's all the panels cut for the front of the drawers. Next thing is to do the PVC edging. Actual edging, not pre-glued, it's PVC, very flexible. About 3/4 of an inch wide. I use fast cap speed tape to put it on with. Basically it's double-sided tape. It's very thin, about 1/2 mil thick or even less, I think. Extremely sticky, really holds on well. The way I do it is I apply the tape to all 4 sides of the panel, then put the PVC on, and then trim it off with the on the router table. Can use a quad trimmer if you've got one. Very difficult to use with the PVC because it's so strong. Very hard to trim off. Otherwise, can use a sharp chisel, run along the face of the panel there to trim it off. But I prefer to use the flush trim bit. So basically, grab a piece of that. I'll keep it flush on one edge, on the front, let it overhang at the back. trim off both ends. Next thing is to cut the overhang off on this tape. This tape, as I said, extremely sticky. If you allow it to fold down the face of your panel, you're going to have a hard time getting the tape off. It does come off, but very time consuming and awkward to get it off, so you need a sharp knife to run along this edge. Trim it off. So, grab yourself a rolling block if you've got one, or like I have, make one. Apply a fair bit of pressure to it, help it adhere to the panel. So, now it's time to peel the tape off and then put the PVC on. It's a matter of sticking a sharp knife into this tape. It can sometimes be a little bit of a hard to get it started. Once you get it started, it's normally pretty good. Peel that off. Once again, this is 20 mil or whatever it is in width, what wider than the panel. So I just keep it centered up, keep it off the tape down that end. Make sure you just got roughly the same amount of overhang. Not like that. Trim it off a little bit longer than the panel. Use the edge trimmers. Trimming both ends off. Once again, along with the roller. Want a bit of pressure on there. That's it. Do that to all four sides, run through the flush trim bit, do all the 10 panels, and it'll be ready to mount them on. Okay, here it is, all done. The top's finished off with 3 coats of water-based polyurethane. Happy with the way it came up. Most important thing is happy wife, happy life. And until next time, take care and hooroo.